This is John Dooley from Concierge Golf in conversation with John Farren, the General Manager at Ballyliffin Golf Club. I suppose, John, it is really probably the furthest 2 points from each other here down in Cork to where you are at the top of the Enniscrone Peninsula, which is way up the top in Donegal.
Yeah, we're the most northerly club on the island of Ireland, in Donegal, but very much on the extremities, let's say. But we feel the journey is worth it, John.
Indeed. I mean, I'm just looking at the backdrop there, the picture behind you. What hole and what course is that on?
That's looking out from the clubhouse towards Pollen Bay, which we're right on the ocean here, obviously. So that's looking at the 10th tee on the old course, looking out towards the ocean there. Right,
interesting. And as a matter of interest then, John, how many acres do you have in total links land?
We have 365 acres here, and there's about 2,500 acres outside our boundary, but it's a special area of conservation. So,
right.
As you know, links land is very hard to do anything with, particularly in the current environment. So we're lucky that our forefathers had the foresight to buy enough to build 2 courses here.
Indeed. So, John, how did you become general manager, or how was or if you could talk a little bit more about yourself, about where you've been or how you've been, and the journey that you've been in, and how long you've been at Ballyliffin? Because I think you've been there for, God, John, for as long as I've been knocking around the golf stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, I started here in Ballyliffin in 2004, but I've been a member here all my life. I was away in Dublin. I was in qualified as an accountant originally, and then went into project management and logistics for 10, 15 years, and got married to a local girl here and moved home, and luckily enough the opportunity came up in Ballyliffin, and I was very lucky to get it.
Indeed. I mean, that's brilliant. So you've been 2004. Whoa, that's a while.
Yeah.
So, and so from the history of the course, then when was or how was all the land bought, or when was it bought, or?
Yeah, well, as is common throughout the country, most links ground is owned in commonage, so farmers own shares in it. So originally the course was a 9-hole course on rented ground adjacent and outside the current property, and that went on for maybe 20 odd years. The members were out cutting their own greens and tees, and there was sheep grazing throughout. But golf became more popular, and they saw an opportunity to build an 18-hole course originally. So they took it upon themselves to go around the farmers, probably with an odd bottle of whiskey, and cajoled them into selling their shares in the commonage. And eventually they got there in around the late 60s, and construction on the old links began in the 1970s. And you know, there was a great deal of input, obviously, from the members. They built 9 holes originally, and then progressed to 18. Eddie Hackett had an input. And there's a couple of British architects on holidays here who gave a bit of advice to the locals, but largely it was local labour and member labour that built the old links. So it's constructed on the lower dune land, and the Glashedy, which followed much later, and began construction in 1993 and was opened in 1995. That's constructed on the higher links ground outside the old links. Now they intertwine, but the Glashedy is very much more exposed on the higher dunescape. So two very different courses. I suppose the Glashedy came about by the popularity of Ballyliffin increasing, and the members felt that, okay, there's restricted access here. We have a lot of visitors looking to come. Maybe we need to look at a second course. And after protracted negotiations with Pat Ruddy and Anton Craddock, a deal was done in around 1992-93, and construction began. And again, it was all local labour that was used, with obviously the oversight of Craddock and Ruddy. And the Glashedy was born, and from that the new clubhouse was built because of the interest and the demand from visitors then to come and play 2 courses on one site. And the fact that the 2 courses are so different makes it, very much more appealing to both members and visitors alike. And obviously then progressed staging tournaments. Initially, the first one was a Ladies Irish Open in 1988. Then we had a co-sanctioned event, the Northwest of Ireland Open in 2002. The Irish Seniors Open was staged on the Old Links in 2008, and then we had a very, very successful Irish Open, the Dubai Duty Free Irish Open, hosted by Rory McIlroy in 2018. And really that has put us firmly on the map in terms of international and domestic itineraries.
And I see, as I was looking through the website, there's an extra 9-hole after being built as well. Now, I don't understood there was only 36 now, but great now, an extra 9 holes. So it's uber busy.
Yeah, the 9-hole came about. We had 3 practice holes, which were part of the original Old Links at one stage. But we were using them as a sort of a practice area, and the kids could use it. And we'd long wished to develop a 9-hole course there, but we wanted to wait and see what the logistics was of staging a major event and getting people in and out before we constructed any 9-hole course. So after the Irish Open in 2018, we saw what was required, and we felt we could progress the development of the 9-hole course. And Pat Ruddy was absolutely delighted to come on board and help us design the pollen links, which opened last year and has proved very popular. It's on, the flatter links land close to the clubhouse. It's about an hour and 15 minutes to play 9 holes, so it's great for guys coming out after work in the evening, but ideal for kids and beginners. We're finding a lot of novice memberships coming, and that's where they start on the pollen links. They get accustomed to the game and get a graph for it, and suddenly they're looking to become full members. But also to the older generation who may not be feel fit to playing the dunes and walk a full 18 holes on the 2 championship links. We find that they're finding the pollen links, the par 3 course, very appealing. And indeed for visitors who come, it's a nice little add-on after an 18 holes. Have a bite to eat in the clubhouse and maybe head out for another hour or so for further 9 holes to settle any bets.
Oh, absolutely critical. An emergency 9 holes that takes an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wouldn't be frowned on if 1 or 2 fellas brought a couple of beers with them along the way either.
No, you get away with most things in Ballyliffin.
Including bad bets.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's fantastic. And for different groups of golfers that would typically come through, John, which courses do you find that they tend to play around Donegal? Because there's a ton. I mean, playing golf in Donegal, you could spend weeks, as long as you like, between yourselves, Rossapena, Port Salin down the road, Nairn Portnew, Donegal, Dunfanaghy, and then if you wanted to play the 9-hole Crut Islands and all the rest,
yeah.
There's a lot of fantastic golf.
Yeah, generally, Port Salin and Rossapena would be the more popular courses, either in advance of Ballyliffin or afterwards. But obviously, the ones you've mentioned, like Nairn and Portnew, Crutch Island, is very, very popular now. And we do try and spread the love, so to speak, and get people to explore the other courses in the area. But and Merva obviously is one of our strongest courses in Donegal. But we also have local courses here, like Northwest Golf Club in Buncrana, just up the road, half an hour from here, and Greencastle just out the road. Lovely seaside courses and a good challenge for any golfer. Maybe a little more off the beaten track, but certainly worth a game, and people really enjoy those experiences. But yeah, generally it would be the likes of the 2 courses, about to become 3 courses in Rossapena, Port Salin definitely, and then of course coming up from the west coast. You'd have Sligo, Murva, and on up to ourselves.
And if you were to pick, I know it's difficult to do, besides yourself now, because we're going to take the bias out of it completely, right? If you had 5 other courses to play in Donegal, what would they be?
Portsalon, both courses in Rossapena. Critch Island for a 9-hole experience is unbeatable. They call it it's our Pebble Beach up here, and it's really, really spectacular, and a real local flavour to it, really welcoming people down there. Murva, obviously, and Nairn and Portnew. The work that's gone on recently in Nairn and Portnew is remarkable, and Gil Hans has redesigned the layout there, and there's a lot of investment gone in there. It's really worth the trip.
Excellent. I played Nairn and Portnew at a pro-am, I think I'd say, John, it was a while ago, but it's ever before the changes were made at. So I've just been talking to Dara Lyons and a few of the other lads as well. They've been mentioning how, as yourself, endorsing how it looks fantastic, it plays great, yeah, and it's definitely worth the trip. Absolutely. Yeah. And with golfers then that would be staying in the Ballyliffin area, the town, nice little town there for the hotel and so forth, for things to do, because sometimes not everybody plays golf, and for things to do, for fishing or sights to see, are there a couple of things that you would suggest and recommend that people should go and see when they're when they're at Ballyliffin, if they had 4 or 5 hours to spend, or a number of days to spend?
Yeah, plenty to do around here. Obviously, in a coastal location, the beaches are phenomenal up here. Malin Head, Ireland's most northerly point, is just down the road. Spectacular scenery out there, and there's some fantastic dolphin and whale watching day trips there that you can do, that really do. They are a memorable feature of any trip to Donegal. I suppose the beaches, the scenery. There's a beautiful waterfall here in Clonmany that is well worth a visit as well. But I suppose that it's difficult to talk about in the current environment, but the pubs and restaurants and meeting the locals, that's an important element of it. And we do find we pride ourselves on being a very welcoming county, and you do find up here that people appreciate visitors coming this far and try and go out of their way to make people feel welcome. And I suppose it's the people and the scenery that make Donegal.
Yeah, absolutely. A good part. The Cade Mead of Fáilte from typically, I mean, we'd say common enough around Ireland too, where you'd find that it's the start of the end of the Wild Atlantic Way, whichever way you want to look at it. Yeah. We pride ourselves on being the start of the Wild Atlantic Way. You'd have a different opinion down there. It's all the same to me.
But we are sort of a link as well between the Causeway Coastal Route with our partners over in Portrush and Portstewart and Castle Rock. So the Causeway Coastal Route comes along the north coast of Northern Ireland and into Derry then, which is a great hub for any visitor coming to the area. Great nightlife and restaurants there as well. And then over into the Wild Atlantic Way, and obviously Malin Head is a signature point, the first signature point on the Wild Atlantic Way, so a very important starting point for any journey to this part of the country.
And John, how far is Derry drive time from Ballyliffin?
35 minutes.
Oh, that's very handy. That's very handy.
Derry would be seen as the commercial hub for Enniscrone, which is the peninsula that Ballyliffin sits on. So a lot of people work in Derry. A lot of our members are from Derry, and a lot of people would do their weekly shopping in more relaxed times in Derry. So very much part of the local ecosystem.
And it is. I mean, as you mentioned, Portrush, Castle Rock, and I'd find as well as from putting it together golf tours that that Ballyliffin would be one of the courses for that But I'd suggest and recommend for golfers that are doing, let's say, both types of golf trips, whether if it's a north of Ireland golf trip where you'd play Royal County Down, Portrush, Portstewart, and then would have say maybe, it'd be Ballyliffin, and then add in Castlerock or Ardglass or one of the two. That would be of interest there for a lot of the guys, and equally as well on the other side of it, then going from Dublin up County Sligo, maybe pop over, play Carne and Enniscrone, then up to Ballyliffin, and it can be, then it might be again it's a mix of what would you like to do, how much time do you have for the Rossapennas, the Nairn and Portnew and the Mervys. So I mean, there's an absolute ton of really good quality golf, and making comparisons, as you'd know very well, making comparisons between the northwest or the north comparing to the southwest of Ireland price wise, and just from the economics, it's half the cost of a golf trip down south as is up the northwest.
Yeah, there is value for money there, definitely, but it's the quality of the product that really stands out, I believe. And we know we're not on everyone's agenda just yet, so I do feel that the courses up here and the properties up here do try and go the extra mile to make sure people are rewarded and feel justified in making the effort and coming this far. As you say, Ballyliffin can be on the coastal swing coming up the west coast from Sligo, Mayo, up through Donegal to Ballyliffin and back home again, or on the inward bound from the east coast up via Royal County Down, Portrush, Portstewart, Castlerock and ourselves. So it depends which route the group choose to come in via, but we do feel that we are a pivotal key pin in both trips.
That's excellent, Sean. That's excellent. Other than that, no, I think when everything gets back to normal, how often do you play yourself?
Not very often, no. Maybe 5 or 6 times a year. Not as much as I'd like to. I keep saying every year that I'm going to start playing a bit more, but never seem to get around to it. I suppose you get used to. Well, when you're working in the environment, sometimes it's good to get your head clear and get away from it too.
Tis indeed. John, I won't take up any more of your time. Listen, it was fabulous having you chat today about Ballyliffin, and I completely agree and mirror what you're saying about the quality of the golf courses in Donegal. A lot of fabulous golf courses to play, lots of great things to see and do, and certainly Ballyliffin is a big part of why you should go to playing golf in. Why you should come to Ireland? Full stop. I mean, why would you come to Ireland? Play Ballyliffin.
Exactly.
Indeed. John, listen, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, John. Good talking to you.